In this video, I am going to talk you through a few positions that have really helped me in my struggle with my MCAS, that's mast cell issues. My mast issue cells flared up last May. I'm not going to bore you with all the really rubbish symptoms that I have, but I've got high histamine levels, and that has a knock-on effect in my body and sets my mast cells into overdrive. A bit like when you have a massive infection and your body reacts. My body reacts from high histamine, and I get certain symptoms that are really unbearable for me. It seizes my body up where I don't normally seize up. So from 1 hour to the next, I can have different symptoms. But the majority of my symptoms that I find unbearable that I have to do something about is where my psoas, my hip flexors get really, really tight, and I get hip issues, hip pain, and they just feel really awful and tight. And my shoulders, because when I'm having symptoms, I kind of stress and I've got anxiety. So my shoulders get all hunched up like that, and my back is really nice and hunched over like that, and then that feeds into my neck. But the worst ever symptom I get is like a vice-like effect all over my head, going all the way down into my jaw and my neck. It's absolutely horrendous. I have found the only thing that helps for me when I'm like that is to get down on a mat and do a certain position. Now, there is a few positions, and depending on what your posture is doing at that moment, which is where an ideal situation, you'd have a one-to-one appointment with me, and I would point out your posture deviations and work you out a set menu of exercises that would be really good for your individual body mechanics that's going on right then. And obviously when you have a flare up, you could contact me and I could offer you some suggestions depending on what your body's doing. But the majority of the positions that I am going to give you today, they will suit almost everybody. If one doesn't work, the other one will. I am going to do this in parts. So first of all, you are going to need a mat or something similar. You can do these exercises on a bed if you can't get out of bed, but ideally you do want to be laying as flat as possible but comfortable at the same time. And if you feel the need to, have something to support your neck, and if your arms feel funny, you can have cushions to support your arms. Just do what feels right for your body and listen to your body. You really need to feed into this. The first position is called Hooklying, and you're going to have, I've got a yoga strap, but you can use a belt or a dressing gown cord. Don't use a resistance band because you actually want the opposite. You want something that's going to offer no resistance whatsoever. So I've got a yoga strap, and I've got it all ready to suit my legs, so I need to have them. It's a good idea to start like this because you need to have sorry about my dirty socks. I've always got dirty socks. Now you need to have your knees, the belt needs to be able to keep your knees at shoulder width apart. So if you can see here, my shoulders are there, and my legs and my feet go all the way down, and they're parallel, so they're running parallel. Definitely needs to find your bite point of your belt, and wherever you're on, you need to be lying down like so, nice and relaxed. Get into position, so you need to have your feet hip-width distance apart, slightly pointed so that they're pointing inwards, and that's pigeon toes. So you need to have them like that. Okay? So my feet go like that, rather than having them out like that. Okay? Get nice and comfy, making sure that you're not skew-width in your body like that, and just keeping really nice and relaxed. This is a really good base position to do lots of different exercises or stretches if you want, But when I'm feeling awful, I literally stay here for 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes. It's a brilliant passive release exercise. Now, sorry, I need to go back. Your hands, ideally they want to be out like that to your side, palms up. But when you're feeling rubbish, you might not want your hands like that. You might feel comfortable with them like that. Sometimes I feel that my shoulders and my chest needs to be opened up like that. So I have my head, my hands underneath my head. I don't like the feeling of interlacing my hands like that when I'm going through a flare-up of all my symptoms. So I just literally have my hands and my arms where it feels comfortable. The main idea of this stretch or this position is to get you really nice and relaxed. It's passive release, so you're releasing all of your muscles, and you're using, especially your hip muscles. Your tummy muscles need to be nice and relaxed. Upper body is not doing anything apart from if you're having your arms underneath like that, up and over. You can have your hands like that, like that. You can even have your hands like this. And if you get cold, you can have a blanket over you or a duvet. Ideally, you'll be giving yourself a double chin, but I know when I'm having a flare or I'm feeling really stressed and anxious, I can't actually move my jaw to be like that and have my neck in that position. So just have your head wherever's comfortable for you, and if you need to, have a pillow or a yoga block, a soft foam yoga block underneath your neck. Ideally, you want your yoga block or your pillow to come there at the base of your spine, so it's not supporting your neck. But if you find that's too much, feel free to put a pillow or a yoga block wherever it feels the most comfortable for you. Now, you are going to really relax into this position. Put some music on if you want. I really like something that I'm following on Spotify. It's called Through Space, and that's a really nice long set of music all about going through space. It's a really nice one. I don't tend to find music that I find that calming. After about 15 tracks, they get really annoying. Sometimes after 1 or 2 as well. So find yourself a really nice chill track or even a podcast and just chill out here. Let everything melt into the floor. Just be conscious of your breath. Because I'm talking, I'm actually doing my breathing through my mouth, but you need to try and be concentrating on your breath as well. So in and out through the nose. This is a good position to do some breathing exercises. So you can do your box breathing here. Good one to start with is in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, and then breathe in. I think I've got that right. Sorry, I was still a little bit in brain fog, so sometimes I've got like delayed action in my thinking. The brain fog is hideous. Anybody with brain fog would absolutely agree with me. I try not to get too stressed out about it. So you're really nice and relaxing. Try and put everything else out of your mind. Just notice what your body's doing. You might find that one side of your body is pressing more into the ground than the other. And for me, it's my left side. I know that's because I've got rotation going on in my right pelvis. Right, so stay there for as long as you need, just letting everything release off. as I mentioned very quickly, it's a really good psoas release position. And you'll find when you're anxious or stressed, or even when you're none of those things, if you sit for a long time, your psoas, your hip flexors, can become really, really tight. This is a great position for de-chairing yourself, getting yourself out of that position that you're sitting in all day. So good, even if you come home from work and you've got 10-15 minutes to spare. So that is the hook-lying position, and I've used yoga mats. You can do it without the yoga mats, but I find that when I'm really anxious or stressed, I don't want to have to think about, are my knees falling outwards or inwards. I like to have the belt there for reassurance. Give this a go and fire me any questions if you've got any questions or if you've got any thoughts. And if you're suffering, if you've got any anxiousness or depression or symptoms such as mine, give this a go and see if it helps. Try and do it every day for at least 20 minutes, if you can, twice a day. That's the hook lying position, and I've used a belt.